My name is Michael Thurber, photojournalist and sociologist here at VEDA World News and at VEDACOM.com with two M's. That is VEDACOMM.com. And I'm here with Miss Holly Cotton, and I'm also here with Miss Sheba. And today we're talking about a topic that is hitting the hearts of many people right here in Houston, and we're talking about Acres Homes, home of former mayor and former Congressman Sylvester Turner, also known as the Faux Faux. Now, I'm not throwing up a gang sign here, but that is what people do right here in Houston when they speak about Acres Home. Sheba, why is Acres Homes so important?
Acres Home is really important because it is one of the foundational Black communities of the city of Houston. Okay. I mean, it has been there for, at this point, at least 100 years.
All right.
And it was primarily Black, inhabited until, I hate to tell you all this, but fairly recently, honestly.
How recent are we talking?
Within the last 20 years.
Okay, so are you talking in terms of gentrification?
Yeah, gentrification and being able to buy property and build.
Okay. Now, what are some of the, let's talk about the good points. What are the good points of Acres Homes?
Community is deeply rooted.
Mm-hmm.
You will see a horse on any given day. That means people love their animals and they take care of them. There's a lot of people who have gardens in their yards. And people just really like being together. I mean, family is deeply rooted in Acres Home. I mean, you'll find generations of people right there. Okay. Now,
what is the area or the neighborhood of Acres Home struggling with currently now?
Economic development.
Okay.
And food insecurity.
Why do you think that is?
White people? Sorry.
No, this is uncensored. We do not, ladies and gentlemen, we do not censor here at VEDA World News. We give it, provide that news to you straight. Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, I think like most Black communities, I mean, it's by design that a community that is predominantly Black is struggling with economic development and food insecurity, because they're not the only one. I mean, in Houston, we've got Sunnyside, Fifth Ward, Cashmere Gardens, and I think there might be a few others where they have labeled them complete communities by the city of Houston. So all of these areas, they're looking at a lack of economic development and food insecurity. I have a piece of property in Cashmere Gardens. I drove over there the other day. They got this gigantic Harris Health Hospital coming up on the corner, down around the corner, and across the street is a Fiesta, thank God, but it's like, come on, man, like, let's pour some more into that community. Like, there's a Burger King, there's one restaurant in Fiesta, and it's like, I grew up in Tomball. This is why all of this is a problem for me, because I grew up in Tomball where we had too much of everything. Okay. Like, why do we need 17 grocery stores? Why do we need like 53 fast food restaurants? Like, I went to Target every day in high school. Why? You know? But it's because I could. You know, I grew up with affluent white women. So it's like, oh, we're playing, we're having fun, we're going shopping, we're going to get disposable cameras and taking pictures and fucking around.
It's okay.
Okay. Sorry. But anyway, it's like, they don't have that opportunity. So like, if the only store is Family Dollar and Orlando's, which most people from Acres Home know Orlando's, and the produce in there is just awful, like, you're not really trying. So I can't say that this is happening for any reason other than it is by design, because they're not trying to fix these problems.
Holly Cotton, do you share that same sentiment that this is by design what's happening to Acres Homes?
You know, just like Sheba said, you know, when we're talking about disparities in minority communities, that's by design. Keeping the sick. If you look at the current state of politics right now, you look at the presidential committees, on every single committee lead, what is the color? What is the demographic? What is the financial demographic? Like, if you look at that, it's basically designed to keep rich people rich and poor people poor. The way to keep poor people poor is by what? Sickness, chronic sickness, not access to health care, not having access to food. And I know, like, whenever I go to any event that they have at Acres Homes, I'm always complaining because I'll go to the chamber and I'm like, as soon as I come off the interstate, I know there's a donut shop, and then I gotta eat when I get back to Memorial City because
Yeah.
there's
Wow.
really nothing there.
Yeah.
Which is why I was gonna like segue into the whole when we're talking about food scarcity and how Sheba is doing the thing with the farmers market.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
So actually, I think they started the farmers market in Acrescent many years ago. Excuse me, but it never really was rooted, so it moved around a couple times. And I guess it was about 2 years ago now. One of the community leaders, I guess they had brought her the idea, and they were like, "Hey, we need to revitalize the farmers market." So she brought it out to the chamber, and she was like, "Hey, let's do the farmers market." And of course, our CEO and his son were like, "Okay," but then they're two fellas. I mean, no shade, but there wasn't a lot of movement and activity happening.
Okay.
So I was like, because I was really trying not to like get involved with it because I was working on a different project, but I was like, okay, let me help. So we decided, to go ahead with the farmers market, but the young lady who had brought the farmers market over said that she wasn't able to do it. And I think it's primarily because it's not easy.
Okay.
There aren't a lot of produce providers who want to come to a community like this.
Why do you think that is?
White people. But also there's a
Okay.
lot of markets in Houston already, big markets that have been running for years, like Tomball Farmers Market, Urban Harvest is a farmers market, Rice Village, Heights Mercantile. They have all of these farmers markets. So these produce providers go to these markets where they have more people coming, right?
Understood.
But I'm also hearing that there are some agreements that they make with them in some cases where they're like, okay, well, you have to come certain times and a certain amount of times. You get to bring, like, if you only grow, a small field of produce and you have to be over here, you can't say, okay, boom, I'll bring some of it over here too, because they don't have enough for us. It's kind of what it's seeming like.
Okay.
So I just have to kind of go and find other people. So like I said, I have people who grow in their yard. I have small community gardens, and they bring us produce to our market. But I do have an announcement, and this is the first place that I am making this announcement.
We're honored.
The Metallic Sunflower Foundation recently started building hydro farms,
Okay.
and they are bringing a hydro farm to the chamber for us to supply our market.
We
with
would love to
hydroponic
be able
produce.
to cover that.
Of
The day
course.
that they have that opening,
Yes.
ribbon cutting or whatever the case may be, I would love to be there.
It's going to be
Capture
able
those
to
images.
do. I mean, this is a big deal.
It is.
It is.
This is a big deal. Like, we are going to be able to provide food to not only our community, but to other communities. And hopefully the Metallic Sunflower will also be able to supply restaurants and other producers with whatever we're growing here. So we can really position ourselves as a place where you can come and find food. So that means that we may be able to open our market more because we'll have more to provide, and we'll be able to grow strawberries and cucumbers and like really good fruit and vegetables, not just lettuce.
Let me kick this over to Holly real fast.
Okay.
You stated when you go to Acres Homes, there was a donut shop and you would have to wait because there's nothing there to eat till you get back to Memorial to eat. The health condition of the people in Acres Homes. As a nurse, what do you see?
Well, exactly what I said. So the plan is to keep the minority, and that is not allowing you to have access to healthy things where's the gym? Where's the fresh fruit? Where's the salada? Where's the stuff that's not fried? And I say minority communities because there are a lot of Mexican restaurants over there too. So the taco trucks and everything else. Look at most Hispanic people; they are very out of shape. Very out of shape. If you see the women, they're thick. Like that's
Define thick for the people
Well,
who
that's
may
what-
not know what that
that's
is.
what I'm saying. They could the slang term would be thick, but they're really not. They're unhealthy. They're BMI.
Inflammation.
Definitely. And so it's almost like borderline obesity whenever you're over a certain BMI. So I think that the problem is that chronic illness, diabetes, high blood pressure, now you have a stroke, now you're not able to work, now you're living off of state funds, now you're not investing in properties, now you're not doing stuff because you're paying for medication, now, you know, you may not be able to do certain things, you can't travel, you can't have a leisure lifestyle because you have to be at home or you're going to the doctor. So it's just a circle and a cycle of just keeping people poor by not giving them access to good quality things. Even healthcare.
Here's a question for both of you.
The good doctors are not in Acres Homes. The good doctors are going to be in Memorial City, and they're going to be in the Galleria, and then they're going to be in the Med Center. They're not going to be, or if they're up north in Spring, it's going to be more Woodland Spring, because there's tons of doctors in Woodlands that practice out of Woodlands,
all the time.
but they're not coming down to Acres Homes to set up a private practice.
That is true. I mean, and there are some hospitals and facilities that open up locations in Acres Home. But my question always to them is, what else are you going to do in this community? Because you're using this land to build your facility.
Because it's cheaper.
Yeah, and you want people to come and you want to provide service to them, but like these people need more than a good place to go get health care. Like there's nothing to eat. When I talk about the store, Orlando's, everyone's like, oh, I love it, they sell the best sausage, but like we went in.
Yeah, it's fatty. It's
but
fat.
every single sausage they make also is made with pork. So like,
blood pressure.
yeah, so like there's no like all beef option, or there's no like, you know,
turkey.
like they have like goat
they're
sausage
not making
with pork.
turkey burgers.
No. And they have a grill back there, girl.
Right.
Wow.
But the problem for me is that they actually have produce inside of the store, but it's like, why do you have it? It's literally like several heads of iceberg lettuce, which we know iceberg doesn't
No
have a lot of
nutritional
nutrients.
value.
Some
Some
bell
apples.
peppers and some apples, girl, that are rotten.
Really?
Wrinkled.
People, anytime they want to be healthy, they throw some apples out.
And the apples are sweating. And they're not wet because they've been spraying water on this produce. It's sweating because it's literally probably dying, this apple. So I'm like, no, we need to do better. So anybody who's like, there's a lot of people who want to throw money around in that community. You know, there's politicians. Politicians love Acres Home because it used to be like a really solid voter location where people would go out and vote in mass. So every political cycle, they're in Acres Home trying to get those votes.
Well,
but I'm like, bring us some money.
Let's ask a question to both you, Ms. Cotton, and you, Ms. Sheba. Do you think or feel that Mayor Whitmire is doing enough for not only the people of Acres Home, but across the county, or in this case, the city of Houston?
I'm just of the mind that I'm a do-for-selfer.
Okay.
Honestly. I feel like Mayor Whitmire probably has so many things on his plate and so many people in he wouldn't even meet with us. So that lets me know that we're not on his radar. So maybe in 6 months.
So you guys actually reached out to the mayor of Houston when he first got into office.
But we're not the only ones. If you remember, the Houston Defender published an article and it featured like several organizations that felt ignored by Whitmire.
Wow.
So
are these organizations still feeling that way now?
Probably. I don't know, but that's why I said I'm a do-for-selfer. So if I know this hospital that's building, I can go to the hospital and say, hey, you're building in this community. What kind of donations can you make across the community to support our food initiatives or initiatives for senior citizens or for the children? What can you do? You know, asking for politicians to come and support you, it has its place and we need that, but also in the meantime, we have to be doing what we can do. Because we can lock arms and make things happen.
Okay, well, let me ask you the question here. Do you think that when you come to like the hospital and say, hey, listen, what things do you have put in place, any processes for the people in Acres Homes, would you take the position that businesses do not need to come to Acres Homes if they cannot effectively help the people who lives in that community?
Honestly, at this point, we're really looking for businesses to come to Acres Home in general. Like, there's a lot of open commercial space. If you have a restaurant, if you have a little spot that you're selling anything, and it's very inexpensive. You know, the idea is that nobody will buy from you if you come to a community like that. But there's people everywhere, and they spend most of their time at the gas station. Do you know why? Because there's nothing else to go shop at. People gotta shop. it is like innate in humans. I must be buying something.
Mm-hmm.
So I see them at the Family Dollar. I see them
Mm-hmm.
at the gas station. I see them at Orlando's. They gotta be shopping. So bring your stuff, and they will buy it from you. But if they don't have the opportunity to see it or get exposed to it, then of course they won't buy it.
Understood. Understood. Your thoughts, Holly?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that Sheba was saying too. I think that the struggle that I have whenever I get too involved in that sort of stuff is keeping that personal, like trying to not make everything personal. You know, like I struggle with that sometimes because I too can be a little militant.
Yes.
And so sometimes it's very hard to figure out how to say the words without being like, you know, what, you know, like, why you gonna come over here and you're not gonna do nothing for the community? Because that's my personal values. Like, well, why are you even here and you're not, like you said, why are you even moving here and you don't? But then you have to look at the business aspect, like Sheba said also. So I think that the key to having these conversations and having those thoughts and actually having productive outcomes is by keeping that balance of my personal views, but then also the business side is just bring your business. But then my personal view is, well, why would you even come over here if you're not even going to do nothing for the community that you're in? Or now, you know, the black kids are coming in and they're feeling like now you're, you know, targeting them, and now they're being, you know, discriminated against, and now they're having all these issues. So you're moving into a black community, you got to know that black kids are coming in there, but you don't like black people. It's like, so, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to navigate that personal side, but then the business side as well. So I think that's all.
I like the fact you said do for self.
Yeah.
I think, let me not say that. Would you be of the position that black people or black Americans in Acres Homes need to start setting up their own businesses and not waiting for other businesses to come in Acres Homes?
Absolutely, but that takes a shift in the mindset and a cultural reset, because again, that community began with only black business owners and only black families.
So what happened over time though?
Let me tell you, they wanted water and lights, and guess who they got it from? The city of Houston. Right. So now that you've got this annexation, you start to get city services, but it breaks down what was built. Like they had their own bus line. Yes, they did. They did. A group of, and I don't know the exact terminology. Warren is he's our CEO. He's the expert on this. But
Understood.
a group of black pastors and business owners came together to start their own bus line. So like that was the first black bus charter in the United States.
Right here in
Acres
Acres
Home.
Homes.
So once you get annexed, Metro comes in, you kill the bus. You kill the cab stands with the yellow cab. You kill the trash man with the trash service. So that's what happens. And other businesses start to move in. Like if there are, you know, large conglomerates, well, the corner pharmacy is not going to stay open if you now can source a Walgreens. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the desire for support from the city is potentially one of the things that killed that community in its core and when it was at its peak of greatness.
Let's talk about transition here. It was once told to me that Metro wanted to expand its train service from where it currently is now to include Acres Homes.
Okay.
Now, how do you feel about that, or how do the residents feel about that, and why didn't it ever happen?
I'm not sure. I can't really speak on that, but I don't see that being a thing because where would they put it?
Right.
Okay.
Like you would have
The
to
infrastructure to make a train line
Yeah.
from downtown. Like downtown is easy; it just follows the main
Right.
streets.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
but we're too spread out. Like that's easy in those really you know businessy areas. Like that's easy to do downtown because it just made sense. But Houston is so spread out. To take the train from downtown to Acres Homes, even if it's a straight shot, it's still too far.
Yeah.
They would have to make so much track.
and it would have to go from downtown through the Heights,
Yeah.
you know, and through all these other communities
Just
to
that.
get to Acres Home. Home, because Acres Home is like in the center of Houston, I feel. So it's like just far enough away from downtown. And really the new developers, that's what they want the selling point to be. We do want you to come and move to this community that is close to downtown, but it still feels like, you know, a suburban area. But then here's the problem. We don't have anywhere for you to go shopping. So just like I was talking about how me and my girlfriend went to Target and bought disposable cameras and lived this lush lifestyle, go and eat fast food and giggling. You can't make that happen for your children because it's not happening in Acres Home. So even if you could buy a home for $400,000, be close enough to downtown and still give a community neighborhood feel to your family, you then have to get in the car and drive to go out to eat, to shop, and do those things that you can do in Pearland, in Sugarland, in Tomball, at the snap of a finger. So,
and I think that's also just period whenever you're talking about a predominantly minority community, because people they think that if I have a store, then people are going to come steal from the store. So I think that it has a lot to do with the underlying racism, the stereotypes of that as well. And not only that, but unfortunately, a lot of times it is true. So that's the other thing too. Like, I get so mad. And I'm like, bruh, why y'all proving them right? You know, like, why are we just like, so it's also that because, again, don't have money. What do? You want nice stuff. You get pushed. Now stealing seems like, you know, well, I want this. Well, I can't afford that, but I want, you know, so it's just that cycle, economic cycle.
In a lot of homes, I think it's not unnecessary, unfortunate, and a natural progression of if your mom's at work or your mom is this or your dad is here, you don't get family values that you might get in a home where everyone's there.
Define everyone's there.
Well, I mean, we're talking about a home where we have multiple parents. You know,
like the nuclear family.
Yeah,
the dad goes to
Because
work, mom stays home.
Family dynamics have really changed in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They're saying now that, you know, it could be two moms in a home.
Well, and that's why I said two parents. It doesn't necessarily have to be a mom and a dad.
Right.
It just has to be, because as a single mother, as I have raised my son, he's 20 years old, my daughter's 12, I've done that by myself primarily. And the other morning I was thinking, man, how much more success I would have had if I didn't have to be my own husband, because that's not a thing. Like, you can't be that. But it was like, that was my only option.
I had somebody and I still was like, hello.
Well, it was just like, if I have to be the breadwinner and the caregiver,
And
I'm
the
going
parent.
to be failing or coming up short in some area, you know. And what's the primary, most important thing in my household? To get things paid, which means that being the breadwinner takes precedent over come and snuggle with me at night because I'm at work.
Understood.
You know, which leaves my children at a deficit because they may feel like my mommy doesn't love me, you know, which is not true. And this is probably also just me being in my own head. But that's the kind of thing that we see when people are held responsible for being all the parents in their house. So it's like, to be so hard on the children of those homes is tough, because it's like, then is it the responsibility of the school or another community activism group or mentors to give them what they're not getting at home? Because I don't know if it's just by design, but just by this cultural progression where they're not getting everything at home. So somebody has to be feeding that to them in order for them to be whole. And if we know they're not going to be able to get it at home, who's going to step up to say, I want to make sure that these children get what it is that they require to be productive citizens, to not go into stores acting a fool, to pull their pants up, to do what needs to be done in order for our future as a Black community or brown community, you know, to be successful.
Question. Since you are a fabulous PR person,
Okay.
extremely successful, obviously, speak to the young men out there who walk around with their pants hanging off of them with no belt. From a PR perspective, what would you tell them?
Well, this might be a little bit touchy because I'll have one of these at my
I
house.
do, and I was about to say, and I got one too. And I'm like, do you not see who your mom
of message
this.
does that send to an observer?
Well, it's very frustrating to me because I feel like there was a gap of time in which it stopped happening. Do you remember that? Like, it feels like maybe like 10 years ago, people like weren't showing their underwear, but it seems like it has now come back. And for me, it looks like you don't have any home training. And I know I really have busted my butt to try to show you what you should be dressed like. Like, you know, maybe this is overdressed for most occasions, but you look really nice.
I appreciate it.
But when I talk to my son about getting dressed, this is not what he sees.
What does he see?
Match,
a hoodie.
A match. As long as it matches, that's
Right.
dressed.
A hoodie and probably some kind of designer jeans, but they're not like pulled all the way up. So I can just see his underwear just a little bit, and then probably Ugg slippers. So you're not sending the message that you want to be taken seriously when you dress like this. You're sending the message that you want somebody to play in your face because you're playing in your own face. Like, if you want to be taken seriously, your image is what people see. So like, if you look good, you feel good, and you'll be treated well by the people that you're approaching. Now, that's not to say that you have to dress for somebody else. You should be dressing well for yourself, because like I said, if you dress well, you feel well, and then your life will reflect that. You can't be complaining that nobody wants to hire you, you don't have a girlfriend, and you can't keep friends, and you're wearing a hoodie, you're wearing slippers, and we can see your underwear, and you're wearing a hoodie, it's 100 degrees. Like, on more than one occasion, I have smelled a teen or a 20, up to 25, and y'all are a touch musty because it is too hot for the clothes that you have on.
And I would also like to say that it doesn't cost a lot, because there was a thing, there was a post on Instagram that went viral. I think the Shade Room or someone even had reposted it. It was on all the blogs. And it was this guy who was dressed from head to toe in Walmart, and he said something, and he was like, you know, like, don't play with me. The whole outfit came from Walmart. Shoes, $20, jeans, $20, or whatever. And then he had a t-shirt that he got from Walmart also. Very nicely dressed. Looked like somebody you would see. He was going out to the club or whatever. And he was clean, he was put together, and everyone in the comments was agreeing with him. They were saying like, yeah, you don't need a lot of money. It's how you carry yourself. So if you have the confidence, you could walk in with a $5 shirt or $12 Shein dress.
Come on.
Thank you. But you're not going to know it because you have the confidence. They're looking at you, and then it's sort of like, oh, okay, you know, they're put together. So yeah, you don't even have to pay a lot of money.
If your energy is expensive, honey, no matter what you got on, you gonna look like you're $1 million.
I just had to really bring that up because, again, public relations is just not centered around business.
No.
Public relations is centered around the individual, as well as the business, as well as the family, who you're dating or married to, if that's important to some people. I mean, what do you feel about that?
Yes, it is. It has a lot to do with image in general, because it is the responsibility or the job of the PR person or the PR strategy to show and, I won't say convince, but to condition the public to believe what you want them to believe. So a lot of that happens because of what you present them. So if I show up every day like this, people are like, Sheba is very serious about business. And somebody told me recently that they felt like I was a shrewd businesswoman. But that's because I probably appear like I mean business. When I say, hey, just like Holly, hey, let's do X, we're going to get it done. You know, if I showed up and I was like, oh my God, I can't remember what it was that we were talking about, the people would not take me seriously. So I have to present myself in a way that reflects exactly what I want people to say about me, to believe about me.
Yeah, because if you're handling my brand and you look disheveled, I'm already like, I could already see this. You can't handle my stuff. You ain't even organized yourself.
Well, let me ask you two ladies this. Is there a such thing, or is there truth to the saying, there is no such thing as bad PR?
I don't know about that, because I think some of these...
they can spin it wrong and mess up your whole brand just by reposting something or by taking something out of context. Like, that's the biggest thing for me, that I have I don't want to say struggle. I have a issue with is whenever I speak and I do stuff, or when I'm doing things like this, and then they chop it up to make it sound like I'm saying something that I didn't say. And that part, I hate that part, because they're trying to use what you said to make it sort of controversial so that they can get clickbait, and they can get people to come interact.
How does that make you feel?
Pissed off.
Yeah, well, yeah.
For me, I'm not
Yeah.
angry.
I mean, I'm just like, my thing is always like, oh, that's what we doing? Bet. I'll just never work with you again.
Yeah.
And they'll always be, oh, let's work together. And I'm like,
I think for me that's upsetting, because you have to do that much more work for good PR after something that's not so good comes out. So my suggestion is always to do good PR all the time. That way when something negative does take effect, when people go Googling it, still good stuff will also come up. You know, because you've done a lot to lay that foundation. So like, let's say one bad article comes out, it's one link on the internet among 50.
But if your brand is that you slept with everybody's husband in Houston, I'm sorry.
Have you received any negative press or anything ever?
I don't get negative press per se. I get like more of negative comments, or
like what?
Like people will just say things when I post something. They'll just comment on my post and they say different things. Just people that are.
Okay, so these are like the not so good people.
Yeah, these are just like people who have no life, and I don't. But I just block them immediately now. Before I was on my growth journey, when I was starting off Holly Cotton, like say 4 years ago, we'd go back and forth on there. I would be like,
I just can't picture you doing that.
Oh my God, I would be like, oh, and yet here you are. And sometimes I do, and sometimes it does slip out, and I'll be like, and yet here you are on my post because you have no life yourself, you know. And then like I'll let it be there for maybe a little while, so other people who want to come co-sign see that I'm not playing, and then I'll delete it because I'm like, I don't want that negativity on my page.
As a PR professional, how should people handle that? Not saying your way is wrong, Ms. Cotton. I'm just saying, but from a PR professional.
I think it depends on the brand.
Okay.
I mean,
if you're selling soap, then maybe you don't have to. But if you're coming in, I'm just posting a picture, or I'll give you a primary example so you can have a tangible example of what to do. So I posted a video in my home office where I'm sitting at my desk, and I have on, it's 100 degrees, it's summertime, I have on a tank top, and I have on some jogging pants, and I have on some furry slippers. Tank top covered, I have breasts, I'm sorry, I have breasts. I have a tank top on, I'm at the desk, and I'm talking about my new book, which is for Aid to Me, which is for kids that are neurodivergent. Shoot, and I left your book at home. And then, and I'm talking about my, book, and how, hey, if you have a classroom, if you have a foundation, whatever, right? So I get comments, well, maybe if you were dressed appropriately, or if you're trying to network with people that work with kids, maybe you should dress appropriately. And I'm like, bruh, like my son would say, I'm sitting at a desk behind it. You don't even see me. I'm literally sitting at the desk. But I had so many people in the comments like talking about the way that I dressed rather than talking about the book.
Wow.
So I just deleted them. I didn't go back and forth with them. But
I think, and I had somebody ask me this yesterday. They were talking about how a person that they know, this person's not their friend, it's just like, I think a work colleague, somebody in media, had mentioned to somebody else that they didn't like the way that she was dressed or whatever. And I said, at the end of the day, if you care what she thinks, then change your outfit. If you don't care, then don't. Because at the end of the day, it's your brand. I think people who know Holly has breasts. What is she gonna do? Hide her boobs or something?
right.
It's like.
And they weren't even out. It was the tank top was like right here. So I wasn't like, hey teachers, if you have some kids, like what? I'm literally like, hello, Pastor Grey Poupon. What?
You can't worry about people being crazy, but I think it depends on the brand. Like, we know when somebody says something about Beyonce, she never says anything. But that's because she has taken herself to the point where she's like, I really can't see you. So like, I love that you're talking to me, but girl.
Right.
You know?
You're so insignificant to me, I don't even care.
And I
Wow.
love that for her. But like those of us who are like, you know, we're out here working, I think it's right on brand for Holly to be like, okay, you know, and then delete it because it just shows that she's like intelligent enough to make a response, but then removing it is like, and it's gone, and so are you.
And so are you, and now you're blocked.
Yeah.
That's what I do now. I block them. I go, and now you'll never have to see my ugly face again. Now you'll never have to see me talking behind the desk again. No worries. You're
Right.
free.
I've alleviated that problem for you.
Wow. Well, this episode here.
Started for Acres Homes. Now we done went to boobs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had to kind of take all that in because there was a lot of information that was shared here today. It really was.
Terrible for saying the F word too.
No,
Okay.
because we don't do censorship
Okay.
here at VEDA.
Right. We believe in the amendments and the Constitution of the United States on VEDA communications.
Well, no, understand. It's gotten to the point when I was coming up as a kid, there used to be hundreds of news and radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're down to just 5 that own everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of hard, especially for PR professionals, to really get things out unless you know someone or you pay an exorbitant amount of money. And so that's why we're here. So we provide news, world news, but we also do not ignore medium-sized and small businesses.
That's great. Well, my name is Sheba, and I sometimes have a potty mouth.
It's okay. And we are also here with Miss Holly Cotton. Where can they reach you, Holly?
I'm super easy, hollycotton.com, HOLLYCOTTON, everything Holly Cotton, Holly Cotton _ on Instagram.
And where can they reach you, Miss Sheba?
So you can reach me at MUZE brand MGMT on Instagram, or if you want to go to my website, you can visit www.mscreativeaf.com.
And my name is Michael Thurl, photojournalist and sociologist here at VEDA World News, VEDACOM.com with 2 M's, that is VEDACOMM.com. We'll see you soon.